Hey guys, just wanted to give you a quick tutorial on a really kind of fun report that you can run in NWEA to look at skills. So I know that we did a little bit of it with Dibbles when we were looking at some foundational skills pieces, but this, your map data we put a lot of stock into, and I want you to always feel empowered to use that data to help your grouping situations in classes and help you narrow the focus always on skills that your students may need support with or that could be working on. So if you go into NWEA and you go to map growth and you log in, we're going to go to the reports. So we're just going to go to map growth reports. And there's a really interesting one once this loads in here called the learning continuum. Okay, so we're just going to really quickly, it'll do that quickly. Yep. So I'm just going to go down to, let's just say Miss Zimmerman as an example. I'm going to pick her reading class, not Miss Anderson, Miss Zimmerman, and do her reading class. And I'm going to go to reading. You can actually do this for math or reading. So I'm just going to show you the reading one today and view the report. So if I click the down arrow here under literary text, you see the three different pieces. And sometimes on the reports, we can see if a student is low, low average, average, or high average on some of those reports that we run the class reports. So under literary text, we're looking at analyze points of view, features, and structure. You can see the writ range, 201 to 210. We had no students in there. Where we start seeing students for Jones' class is in here in the author's craft from this 211 to 220 range. We have a couple students in there. It also gives their Lexile scores as well. And why this might be helpful is it can show you kind of where the students are clustering out with some of their skills. This is where a couple of these students are going to be topping out with their RIT scores in this area, okay? We have a really big cluster here in 221 to 230. These are the skills within that one. And then there really isn't much more to pull after that for the 231 to 240. If I want to go down, vocabulary always seems to be our hardest hit subgroup with those average, low average pieces. So if we go down here, we can see where students start to pop up and what they might be ready to focus on. Base words, affixes, do they need help using reference materials? It gives us some guidance on where the students are falling and their skill sets, okay? So we can see a couple of students in this 211 to 220 range. These are some of the things that they might be having to do to get that score. Multiple meaning words. But also look at the text passage. It uses context in a grade 8 passage to determine word meaning. Like there's some really interesting bullet points in here that might be helpful. We pulled our attention to it for just a moment. So I wanted to show you that so you could see kind of how your students cluster out. So maybe that helps with some of your grouping practices in class. Again, you can do it for literary text. So I know I'm scrolling fast. You can also do it for nonfiction or informational text and see kind of where people are falling within the range. And there's always that analyze central ideas, concepts, events, and summarize. I bet if we compared these against our benchmark assessments, some of these standards with summarizing and main idea, key details would still be consistently where we need to do some work with our students. So I just thought this was a fun report, wanted to share with you as we start ending our time with our testing window here. So